early, knowing that you had HIV, and told everybody that it was bronchitis. Okay? I was in jail. Natalie didn't say, hey, Orlando, you want to do this show? It's some guys with HIV.
Atlanta, just in 2025 alone, this is August, it's been a reported 19,500 new cases.
Are there any men in Atlanta that's straight? Because from all, it's like 1,000 story times of niggas being down low, finding out they gay.
Have you heard what's going down in Atlanta right now? Things are getting real messy and people are starting to talk loud about it. Orlando Brown just shook the table and dropped a wild claim, exposing what he says is a hidden side of the city's ongoing STD situation, and it's way deeper than most people expected. The numbers alone are raising eyebrows everywhere. Atlanta's HIV statistics are serious, with reports showing that 72% of cases affect Black residents, even though they make up about 1/3 of the city's population. That gap has people questioning everything because something clearly isn't lining up the way it should. Now Orlando is stepping in, calling things out and pointing fingers, speaking on who's been keeping quiet and hinting at secrets tied to the rap scene. He's putting stories out there that got people wondering what's really happening behind the spotlight. Looking at the latest data from 2024, over 40,000 people in Metro Atlanta are living with HIV, and the impact is hitting certain communities harder than others. Georgia is still ranking among the top states for new cases, with a noticeable rise in STD numbers over the past 5 years. Stats don't just appear out of nowhere, and neither do street conversations. When numbers climb like this, people start asking real questions. Is it just healthcare gaps? Or is there more going on behind closed doors that nobody wants to admit? Now this is where the whole DL conversation starts getting real loud in Atlanta.
Ever since Atlanta started putting tight britches on and tattoos on the front of their thighs and things like little baby them, and wearing them crop top shirts, and ever since the jeans got tight, Atlanta been going downhill rapid.
You are a single woman in Atlanta dating, you need to follow this page called Don't Date Him Atlanta. Most of them, if not all of them, have some type of STD, STI. This particular story about this guy, he's a cross-dresser.
The city has carried that DL capital label for years, and whether people agree with it or not, that reputation didn't just pop up out of nowhere. It's built on a mix of Southern conservatism, deep-rooted culture, and a hip-hop scene that's had a complicated history when it comes to identity and image. On the surface, Atlanta looks bold, flashy, and full of pride. But underneath that shine, there are whispers about people living double lives, trying to keep up a certain image while hiding parts of themselves. That contrast has people talking heavy because the public persona doesn't always match what's happening behind closed doors. There have even been disturbing situations tied to secrets getting exposed, where things went way too far and turned tragic. Those stories only add more attention to an already sensitive topic, making people question just how much pressure some are under to keep appearances intact. At the same time, Atlanta is home to a powerful and thriving queer community, especially among Black creatives who are expressing themselves openly and unapologetically. So while one side of the city is celebrating freedom and identity out loud, another side is still moving in silence, trying to avoid judgment and protect reputations. Some critics even claim the entertainment industry adds more pressure, with rumors about manipulation, control, and artists being pushed to fit a certain image. And when someone steps outside that mold, the city's reputation can get flipped and used against them fast. That's where Orlando Brown enters the picture again. A viral clip has him calling out several rappers, accusing them of not being honest about who they are.
You like a gay rapper.
Shit, he might be one nowadays.
Everybody's a gay rapper except for these niggas, except for you and me, Demonch. I know Young Thug's gay.
Hey.
I know Young Thug sucks on baby's old crusty dick. It's nasty.
And your image, they know you a man of God supposedly, right? Right? But if you a true man of God, you would have told that man he looked like a homosexual walking. You made that shit okay. And that's what they trying to do. Use us to promote their agenda. That shit is not okay, and I'm not a man of God if I don't tell you, you pussy ass nigga, that you let that shit fly.
He even mentioned names like Young Thug and Lil Baby, claiming they were involved in situations behind the scenes, saying they used to mess around. Now look, a lot of people are quick to brush Orlando off and call him crazy. But let's be real for a second. Sometimes the ones people doubt the most are the ones saying things others are too scared to say out loud. That's why what he's been putting out there is still catching attention, because some of it lines up in ways people didn't expect. When you stack Orlando's claims next to some of the recent clips and conversations floating around, it definitely gets people thinking twice. For example, Young Thug recently appeared on a podcast called Perspectives with Bang, talking about the whole Gunna situation and the snitch label. But then out of nowhere, he made a comparison that had people confused, bringing up being gay in a way that didn't sit right with listeners. A lot of people online said the moment felt off and even a bit defensive, like it came out of left field. And you already know the internet doesn't miss anything, so that clip started spreading fast. Then folks started pulling up older moments too, pointing to past photos of Thug experimenting with fashion, like wearing skirts and makeup, and using that to question everything all over again. It turned into a whole situation overnight, with people debating what's real, what's image, and what's being misunderstood. There's a theory floating around that the entertainment industry pressures artists to experiment with their image or identity, not just for creativity, but to keep control over them. Some people believe it's all part of a bigger game, keeping artists in line or even collecting material that could be used against them later. Then you hear talk about humiliation tactics, where personal moments or details somehow get leaked or twisted just enough to shift how the public sees someone.
We finna let Lil Baby come out here in his booty coochie shorts and just pop out with his hand in his motherfucking slit and just, yeah, that's just what we doing.
Powerhouse telling you, they are openly affirming that they're going to teach your young black boy that the LGBTQ lifestyle is right, appropriate, should be celebrated. Because I can tell you, I believe that OC and his boys that night when they left King Chapel, them suckers partied like it was 1999. They throw down. Might hear some of your little sons with them throwing down with them. They weren't throwing down with girls, that's for sure. Oh, man, that's depressing. And you gonna send your child to Morehouse College after knowing that's going on. Just put a dress on it. Put it in a high heel.
The idea is that once your image gets shaken, it's easier for others to influence your moves and keep you under pressure. Now, when you mix all of that with the DL conversation, especially in a city like Atlanta, it starts to paint a picture that some people believe runs deeper than just rumors. According to Orlando Brown, he's pointing at Young Thug as an example of how things might really operate behind the scenes, at least from his perspective. And when it comes to Lil Baby, the rumors haven't slowed down at all. People started talking heavy after he was seen at that all-white party getting close with billionaire Michael Rubin. And that moment alone had social media going off with speculation. Since then, folks online have been watching his every move, saying his style and energy seem different. A recent performance clip even went viral, showing him on stage in denim shorts, a tank top, and a pink belt, pulling attention to his thigh tattoos, something that had the internet talking nonstop. But it's not just Young Thug and Lil Baby getting pulled into these conversations. Other Atlanta names like Playboy Cardi, Soulja Boy, Ludacris, and Lil Scrappy have all had rumors at different times linking them to DL or BI discussions, and now people online are saying this pattern isn't anything new at all. According to some voices on the internet, this has supposedly been part of the industry for years, going way back. You'll see comments where people claim it's been happening since earlier eras, with stories and speculation being passed around for a long time, even if there's no clear proof behind most of it. Some even bring up past artists, saying figures like DMX and Prodigy were aware of certain things happening behind the scenes, though those claims are heavily debated and not confirmed. Still, that hasn't stopped the conversation from spreading fast across social media. At the same time, discussions about Atlanta's STD rates are making things feel even more intense. Some locals say the situation is more serious than what's being shown publicly, and it sparked fear and caution around dating in the city. There's also ongoing debate about how DL culture, nightlife scenes, and broader social influences might be intersecting in places like Atlanta, including conversations tied to college communities and party environments. All of this leads to one big question people keep asking. Why does DL culture seem to run so deep in Atlanta compared to other places? So why does all of this seem to hit so hard in the South, especially in a place like Atlanta?
Put some rules on it. Put your boy some booty shorts. Think about it twerk. He can leave Morehouse and go to church so he can be truly baptized in the LGBTQ experience. You know how to do that little praise dance where they all wiggling and jiggling all over the church. Put a stripper pole in the church. Put a stripper pole in King's Chapel. Put some liquor in there. Why don't you bring somebody in there named Shantae? Name the child after some liquor. Name him Brandy. Man, I'm telling you, man, it's just gotten ridiculous. Already in Atlanta, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but these people are lamenting how HIV and syphilis and chlamydia and all of these STDs are going sky high. I remember when they used to proudly call Atlanta ATL. short for Atlanta. Now they call Atlanta ATL. Did you hear me? ATL.
A lot of people point to long-standing cultural pressure, where reputation, image, and tradition carry serious weight. In some communities, especially tied to church and old-school family values, being open about identity hasn't always been accepted, and that pressure can push people to keep parts of their lives hidden. Because of that, some individuals choose to present a certain lifestyle publicly, building families, careers, and respected positions, while keeping other parts of themselves completely private. That contrast is what keeps the DL conversation alive, because what people see on the surface doesn't always tell the full story. Atlanta, in particular, gets described as the perfect middle ground. It's a major city with endless movement and opportunity, so it's easy to blend in. But at the same time, social circles overlap in a way where word can still travel fast. That mix creates an environment where privacy and exposure exist side by side. Then you add hip-hop into the picture. Even with progress over the years, there are still expectations around image and masculinity that can make it difficult for artists to be fully open. So some end up navigating that pressure quietly, knowing the industry, fans, and peers are all watching closely. That's why people say this situation isn't just about rumors. It's about reputation, influence, and the fear of losing everything if certain truths come out. And when you connect that with rising health concerns, public speculation, and viral call-outs, it all starts to feel like different pieces of the same complicated story. And this is where everything starts to collide in a serious way. Because now it's not just rumors, not just viral clips, not just people talking online. It's real-life consequences mixing into the conversation. Health concerns, public image, industry pressure, and personal choices are all getting tangled together. And it's making the situation feel bigger than just entertainment gossip. A lot of people are starting to say this isn't something that can just be laughed off or ignored anymore. When you've got rising health statistics, constant speculation, and big names being pulled into the spotlight, it forces a deeper look at what's really going on beneath all the noise. At the same time, there's a danger in running too far with unproven claims. Social media can take one statement, one clip, or one rumor and turn it into a full-blown narrative overnight, whether it's style or not. That's why some voices are pushing back, saying people need to separate facts from assumptions before things spiral out of control. Still, the tension isn't going anywhere. Between Orlando Brown's comments, the industry whispers, and Atlanta's ongoing reputation, people are watching closely, trying to figure out what's al-haqiqa and what's just talk. And right now, nobody seems to have a clear answer. But the conversation is only getting louder. And now, the spotlight is locked in tighter than ever, because people aren't just talking. They're picking sides and forming their own conclusions fast. Some are convinced there's hidden truth behind all these claims, while others are calling it all exaggerated, saying the internet is blowing things way out of proportion. What's really wild is how quickly narratives can shift. One clip drops, one name gets mentioned, and suddenly that person is trending for all the wrong reasons. In today's world, perception can hit harder than facts, and once a label sticks, it's almost impossible to shake it off. Meanwhile, artists are stuck in the middle of all this noise, trying to protect their image, their careers, and their personal lives at the same time. Every move gets watched, every outfit gets analyzed, and every interaction gets turned into a headline. That kind of pressure can push anyone to move carefully and stay guarded. And let's not forget, Atlanta is still a major cultural hub, setting trends and shaping the industry every day. So when conversations like this pop off, they don't just stay local. They spread everywhere and influence how people see the entire scene. At this point, the rumors, the reactions, and the real issues are all blending together, and the line between truth and speculation is getting harder to see. One thing is clear though, the attention isn't slowing down anytime soon. Now the spotlight is hitting harder than ever, and people aren't just watching, they're choosing sides real quick. Some are fully convinced there's truth buried in all these claims, while others are shutting it down, saying the internet is dragging things way too far and turning rumors into reality. What's crazy is how fast the story can flip. One small clip drops, one name gets brought up, and suddenly that person is everywhere for the wrong reasons. In this era, perception can outweigh facts, and once people lock in on a narrative, it's tough to break out of it. Meanwhile, the artists caught in the middle are dealing with non-stop pressure. They're trying to protect their brand, their money, and their personal lives all at once, while the public dissects every little detail. One outfit, one moment, one interaction, and it instantly becomes a trending topic. And Atlanta isn't just any city. It's a major force in music and culture. So when drama starts there, it doesn't stay contained. It spreads fast, shaping opinions across the whole industry and beyond. Right now, everything is blending together. The rumors, the reactions, and the real-life concerns. The lines are getting blurry, and people don't know what to believe anymore. But one thing is obvious. The conversation is only getting louder, and all eyes are still locked in. This whole situation feels like a story about a city where some people are living two completely different lives, while an industry keeps things separated to protect images and profits. That contrast is what keeps raising eyebrows, especially with numbers this high, and Atlanta still carrying that DL Capital label. It leaves a lot of questions hanging in the air. What's really going on behind the scenes, and why aren't more people openly connecting all these dots? Is it just speculation, or is there something deeper that people are avoiding talking about it? And when it comes to Orlando Brown, do you think he's actually onto something with his claims about certain rappers allegedly living double lives? Or is this all being taken too far by the internet? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because this conversation is far from over. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next.